It's not coincidental that wine brings people together, especially great people. So when Cindy Cosco has a brand new wine bar in Glen Ellen, California, we are all in to go film. Walk with us, come with us, taste with us with Passaggio Wines and Cindy Cosco. Walk us through where this tasting room is, because it's in a very historic location.
So we are in Jack London Village in Glen Ellen. Very historic building, for sure.
And why so?
So this used to be the old winery back in the 1800s.
Oh, it's absolutely magical. The first time we met was 2010.
Really?
I know. I feel more mature, not older.
I'm much wiser.
Much wiser, exactly. But give us the Passaggio journey. You didn't start out in wine country. You didn't have a tech company that you sold and cashed out. It's very, very humble, yes. Walk us through that aspect of how you moved from Virginia all the way out here.
So in 2004, I came out here from Manassas, Virginia. I was in law enforcement. And I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore, and I actually followed somebody out here.
Okay.
And when I got out here, I was like, what am I going to do now? And so I loved Sonoma, fell in love with Sonoma. And I thought, well, maybe I could get into the wine industry somehow. But I didn't know what that meant for me. But I just wanted to get into the industry. And how do you do that? And so I started working for Bevmo.
Okay.
Found a guy that worked for Chateau St. This is like a, this story. And he worked for Chateau St. He got me a harvest job. And that's how it all started.
And so was it the harvest aspect of having your hands and feet in the dirt? Was it the process of production and watching the fruit come in and letting the aging process take over? Or the whole thing that just kind of said, ooh, I could do this? I was
in Sonoma. It didn't matter.
Anything.
And I was working for a large winery, very prestigious winery, and that didn't matter. So I loved seeing the fruit come in. I loved the processing of it. I loved the lab part of it, and then the fermentation, the whole thing. It just was fascinating to me. And so from then on out, I worked in the lab. They hired me on full time after harvest and worked for them for 3 years in the lab.
And when did you decide that maybe I don't want to work for someone, I want to work for myself, and I want to make my own wine?
Yeah, so Foster's owned them, I think, at the time, and they had an education program. And if you took classes, like I took the Napa Valley College Enology program, and they paid for all of that. And during that time, I realized what I wanted to do. I wanted to make wine.
What wine specifically? I mean, you're in Sonoma. You have access to world-class wines. You kind of grew up with an Italian heritage of not necessarily similar wines that they produce here. There's a couple overlaps, but what were some of the wines that you wanted to make?
So I tasted Iron Horse's Unoaked Chardonnay. Must have been 2005, 2006, somewhere around in there. I said, that's what I want to make.
That's a good one to start on.
Exactly.
And Passaggio, where does that name come from?
So my great-grandfather came over from Italy in 1905. Passaggio means passageway. Okay. And it's like a journey. It's just a tribute to that family that came over here.
What's in store for the future?
Oh, you should never ask me that question.
More reds?
No, as Carol says, stop me. I got to hone it in. So
okay.
I have to hone it in.
So what would you like to do when you grow up? Or are you doing it?
I'm doing it.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Cheers.
Cheers. All right. As usual, just a fantastic time with Cindy. You have to see this wine bar in Glen Ellen. It's insane. The wines are fantastic. Everything speaks for itself. Her journey is something to behold. Come taste these wines. Thank you so much for all the support. Cheers.